Coming up today on Towson Sports Weekly, the men's lacrosse team play their final home game of the season against Penn.
And the women's lacrosse team readies themselves for a semifinal matchup against George Mason.
And we'll give you an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at Towson's new defensive coordinator. All that and more right here on Towson Sports Weekly, and we're coming at you now, right now. Okay, I lied now.
How about now?
All right, now.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Towson Sports Weekly. I'm your host, D.A. Daniel Abraham, sitting alongside my partner in crime, Simon Haptemariam. Simon, what's going on?
Not much, DA. Enjoying the not so nice weathers we had last week. It's
Nah,
actually
but
kind
it's
of
okay.
depressing.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's better than the snow and stuff we had a few months ago. But enough small talk, Simon. Let's get to the show.
All right.
As many Towson students were waking up preparing for Tiger Fest, the men's lacrosse team would give them a reason to come out to United Stadium. Hosting their final regular season game against Penn, Towson would be saying goodbye to 11 seniors. And what better way to say goodbye than a home field victory? Could they do it? Let me take you out to Johnny United Stadium to see just how the Tigers would fare. And as we mentioned, 11 seniors saying goodbye for the Towson Tigers in this game. But there are only three names you need to remember throughout this entire highlight package.
What are they?
That is Brian Vetter.
Brian Vetter.
All right, you got Brian Vetter?
Yeah, I got him.
All right, you got Tim Stratton.
Tim Stratton.
And you got Blake Best. Those are the three names you need to remember, and the Tigers would start out down 2-0 in this one. But we mentioned the three names and Brian Vetter on this one. How about Vetter catching it from behind the net and darting it into the goal to put the Tigers on the board? Take another look at this Brian Vetter. He's got a cannon behind that stick, and bam, right past the goalie into the goal. It's 2-1. The Tigers only trailing by 1. But Penn would not go silently, and the mascot is the Quakers. You know, the Quaker means the silent one. They wouldn't go out without making some noise. 3-1 on top of Towson. But again, Tim Stratton is going to get this goal off the pass from Jonathan Engelke, and Stratton would go on to put the Tigers down only by 1. Then Randall Cooper is going to knock this pass over to Blake Best, who sneaks in behind the goalie for the goal to tie this thing up at 3 apiece. Take another look. Blake Best is going to hide behind the goalie, and hey, guess what? Peekaboo, right by the goal into the net, and all of a sudden the Tigers knotted at 3. But Penn would go right back on the lead with a diving goal there to take the 4-3 advantage over the Tigers. And the Tigers, well, they were a long shot so far from this one. Speaking of long shots, Brian Vetter from 20 yards out, money through the net for Brian Vetter, 4-4 to tie this game. Still in the first quarter. Then Matt Latonic is going to have this falling assist for Latinick over to Timmy. We talked about him before as Timmy Stratton gets the goal. Take another look. The fall by Latinick, and then Timmy gets the goal.
Through the legs.
The net, right through the legs of the goalie, and that is skills. 9 goals scored in the first quarter. We go to the second quarter, and picked up right where he left off is Timmy Stratton as he gets the goal unassisted. I don't need no help. All on my own. Goal for Timmy Stratton, 6-4, and then Blake Best doing what he does best, slashing right in front of the net, point-blank range into the goal. 7-4, the Tigers with the lead, but the Penn Quakers not going out without a fight again. How about Towson, man down, and they haven't done very well with man down this year, and, well, staying true to form, the goal from Penn to cut the lead to 7-5.
They haven't really done well in defense at all, to tell the truth.
There you go. Well, instead of doing our worst, Towson decided to do their best as Blake Best gets another goal here, and that would give the Tigers the 8-5 to lead. Then Brian Vetter from way outside downtown. He's going to dial long distance and get the goal there. And Towson now up 9-5. Take another look. Brian Vetter.
Look at that windup.
Goal money. But that wouldn't do it for the Tigers. As Vetter says, I can shoot from long distance, and if you let me point blank range, I can shoot from there too. Brian Vetter.
Well, even if he does get up close, he has about a 5-foot windup.
Well, point blank range, and it works. Take another look at this goal. The sick move from Brian Vetter. The fake one way, the cross back the other way, and the goal. 10-5, and the Tigers would put a little bit of icing on the cake as Blake Best gets another goal here, and the Tigers, who Blake Best, Brian Vetter and Timmy Stratton combined for 14 goals in the game, and the Tigers get the win 18-12. With an overall record of 5-9 and Drexel's win over Villanova on Sunday night, the Tigers will miss the CAA tournament for the first time since 2002. Here we have with us Jimmy Payne, TSW's own men's lacrosse analyst, who will give us some insight on how the Tigers can bounce back into the tournament and into the tournament contention next year. Jimmy?
Well, for next season, definitely, as you've seen from the video, like against Penn, just playing better offense, being more consistent. They're, like you're saying, they're losing a lot of seniors. They're losing 3 of their top offensive players in Vetter, Engelke, and Best. So they're really going to have to play better on offense, play harder on defense, and definitely find a consistent goalkeeper.
There you go. Well, why is it that the Tigers struggled a little bit as far as throughout this season and getting into the postseason and all the different types of things? What seemed to go wrong for Towson even more so this year?
Well, let's start off. They didn't make the playoffs because they were 4 games under 400. They were 3-3 in the not-so-strong CAA conference. One stat I thought was really key, that they were 1-8 against teams in the top 20. They had 1 win against Denver, which is ranked 19, and they had a 1-win goal. They just could not play well and consistently against the elite teams. They struggled because the offense, like I said, could not score consistently. The defense allowed easy goals, and also the defense could not clear the ball when they played teams that had aggressive and athletic midfielders. They couldn't clear the ball really well, which led to giving up yet again easy goals. And it's just, as we were saying, lack of consistency on both sides of the ball. It's like when they get the ball on offense, they'll score like 2 or 3 goals, and then they'll go like 5 or 10 minutes without scoring a goal. But they'll miss like 2 or 3 shots. And then on defense, they'll make a good save, and then they can't clear it, and then they give up the easy goal.
Well, Jimmy, you talked about the struggles of this team. Let's talk about some of the positives. Who was the MVP of this season?
Definitely, hands down, Jonathan Engelke. He finished the season leading the Tigers in goals with 33. He also led them in assists with 21. He was this team's Kobe Bryant. If they needed a goal, he was their go-to guy throughout the season. The closest goal scorer had 18 goals. He had 13. The closest person in assists had 13. He had 21. Wow. So obviously you can see that Engelke definitely was the top offensive player. It's going to be really hard for Towson to replace his offensive production. They're losing like 90% of their offensive production this year, and Engelke was the major contributor to that. So, hands down, MVP, Jonathan Engelke. Great season. He actually ended the season. He finished his Towson Tigers career ranked 9th overall in points with 113 goals and 43 assists. So, congratulations to Jonathan.
Well, you talked about Jonathan Engelke. He's a senior. You talk about Brian Vetter. He's a senior. You talk about Tim Stratton. He's a senior. What does this team look like next year, and can they even turn it around losing seniors?
Honestly, not being pessimistic, but I don't think Towson can turn it around simply because they're losing too much experience on an already inexperienced team. As you said, Engelke's leaving, Billy Sadler's leaving, Matt Antol is leaving, Vetter, Best. Yeah, but it's I'd say they're losing like 70% of their starting lineup. And that's not going to be good when they went 5-9, and next season they're going to be playing against teams that are going to be even better. When you look at teams like Maryland and Virginia, they're going to be getting better because their top players are freshmen and sophomores, juniors. They're younger. Those teams are getting better where Towson is going to be taking a step back when they already were 3 or 4 steps behind the top teams.
Well, thanks a lot, Jimmy, and it's time for our first commercial break. But when we get back, Simon will have some good news from the other side of the lacrosse field as the women gear up to participate in their semifinal game against George Mason. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Towson Sports Weekly.